So now I'm sure that you know how to calculate rectilinear distance, and then we do that for the other distances for C1, C2, and C3. Remember, here we did only for C1, then was 11. I need to do for C2 and for C3, and then I have the total distance for each one of those, right? So I know that that red dot to C1 is 11. That red dot to C2 is 9. That red dot to C3 is 5. Okay? And that's what I kind of explain in this one, right? So we have 9 here, we have 5 here, and we have 11 here, right? Again, using rectilinear distance. Then I can use that to calculate my load distance. So what are we doing with the load distance? So going back to here, right? So if I just take, okay, I need the average of this, I'm assuming that you're doing the same number of trips from red dot to 1, red dot to 3, red dot to 2. But actually, I could do 100 deliveries from red dot to C1, and then only one delivery to C3 and one delivery to C2. If that's the case, where should I put the red dot? Well, not in the middle. I should put next to C1 because that's the one that I'm doing 100 deliveries, right? The same thing, if the largest volume is C2. So the load distance here, it will help us because it actually is going to give us a weighted value, and it's going to pull from the central line closely to wherever you're doing more trips, right? That's kind of the idea. I want to kind of reduce the total distance. So I want to know not only the distance between 2 points, but how many times I'm doing that. And the load distance is just taking the load traveling between the locations and then multiplying by the distance. So the load is L and the distance is D. Okay? So I could use number of trips that I'm doing, or I can do number of pounds or number of tons or number of products, whatever kind of unit of measure that I have. In this case, I'm going to do number of deliveries. So let's say that I want to calculate distance, the load distance. I have the distance that we just calculated in previous videos, 11, 9, and 5. But now I have an additional information. I have the load, which is the number of times that I went to C1, number of times I went to C2, number of times I went to C3. So you can see here that C1 is a lot more important than C3. I'm going almost 3 times more to that point, right? So the load distance is the sum of the distance times the load for each location. So 11 is the distance, 14 is the load, plus 9 is the distance, 10 is the load, plus 5 is the distance, and 5 is the load. All that is 269. So you can think about miles or kilometers, whatever it is. I had to drive, let's say miles, 269 miles to do all these deliveries from the red dot.